I really appreciate you doing this with me. So Jeremy had nothing but nice things to say. I appreciate meeting you. This is the first time meeting you. It's actually the first time I've ever done something with meeting someone for the first time. We did a podcast.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good to have you here, and I'm honored to be on the show.
I appreciate it, dude. So what drew you to commercial real estate, and how did you get started transforming multifamily into thriving communities?
Well, that's kind of a long story because I've had multiple careers in real estate. Was a broker, a lender, and an investor. And I got all three of those designations in my first year when I was 19 years old in real estate. So, I tried everything, tried to figure out everything. And once you kind of plateau in a certain area, or you hit the peak, or, you reach that goal, I start to get a little antsy and see what's next, what's bigger. So the first 7 years was residential investment property, and multifamily is just residential at scale. So it's, instead of one kitchen, you have 100 kitchens.
Right.
So, that experience helped me get there in commercial real estate. But my first 7 years was all residential, and I was helping investors buy fix and flip properties off market. My whole career, I did like off market deals because I found that was at 19, 20, 21 years old. That was the way I could stay in the mix and stay in the deal. They had to use me to make the biggest decision of their business career and buy this property if I had it, if I had control of it, if I had it under contract. So that's how I broke into residential, and then ended up representing our NFL MVP, Sean Alexander, in his MVP year. Helped him buy the whole top of Cougar Mountain off market, sourced that deal myself as well. That was great. And worked with this firm on the West Coast. It was an investment firm, and they ended up becoming the marketing agent for Trump Tower in Las Vegas. And this was like 2007. And so we're down there, and we're spending all types of money. We're all successful, and we sold 200 Trump Tower units in 48 hours. I had a reservation on a unit, and not much later, the market shifted. Countrywide, which was our lender, they pulled out of the deal altogether. And then I was tasked with taking all 200 loans from bank to bank to bank to hedge fund, private equity, which that was fun, but it opened my eyes up to the bigger world of commercial real estate. And all of the funds and salespeople, they loved me because they wanted to do these 200 deals, full doc, owner occupied, second home purchases. But the market was changing and shifting, and it ended up becoming the great financial crisis that we know today. That opened my eyes, and I was able to reinvent myself and transition from residential to commercial. And that was just commercial brokerage. But I was young at that time when the market was shifting, and I still felt like a kid, but I had these adult-sized problems and all these properties in my name. I was mid-flip on some properties, and we were on the market, and we were chasing prices down. We were just too slow on our price reductions, and I ended up keeping properties and converting them into rentals. And that's what saved me during that period. Didn't foreclose on anything during that time, saved every property, and just turned everything into rentals. And then I started helping other people who were going through similar situations with their portfolios. Brought me deeper into distressed commercial real estate and working with distressed landowners and unfinished developments, and enter value add multifamily real estate, which is where I'm at right now.
Right.
I found out, wait, people are doing this. They're flipping entire apartment buildings, taking an apartment building that maybe is at a C grade, and then taking it to a B, and increasing the rents and increasing the value,
Right.
and then either selling or holding on to it. And that's what really inspired me. So I went deep into that in 2009, 10, until I retired from commercial real estate as a broker in 2020. And that's when we bought our first hotel and we converted that hotel into apartments, and then the rest is kind of history from there. But yeah, it's been a long career. Very blessed to have dipped my toe in a lot of different parts of real estate, commercial, residential, office leasing, all different property types. It's so big. There's so much you could do.
There's so much to do. There's so many things. You could say commercial real estate, and there's 40 different things in commercial real estate. You know, tell me a little bit about the hotel that you converted. Like how do you find that? Like what made you do that? Like what I've seen that a few times. You know, I've had a couple people reach out to me like, hey, do you want to do this in Texas? And then someone actually was trying to do one in Leavenworth recently.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard that a few people trying to do that.
You know, I told you I was an off-market guy, so everything off-market. You know, I just had this opinion that it was just, that's where you find the deals. But a deal's a deal. The numbers are the numbers. And I had this guy who is now my business partner bring me a deal that was a hotel, and it was 25 units in Wallingford. And he said, it's on the market. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me teach this guy a few things. You know, I'll meet up with him at the coffee shop and we'll talk about it. He put the package on the table, and 30 seconds later, I said, we're buying this deal. Either we're getting a $500,000 assignment fee or we're doing this ourselves. And he agreed, and we shook hands right there. It was a tough one. We ended up buying it because nobody else believed in it. And when we closed, it was the day that we closed and got our keys was the day that COVID-19 was a national emergency. So instead of going right into our renovation plans and converting this to apartments, we had to continue running the place. And so, you know, we were doing housekeeping. We're like painting walls and sweeping the grounds and picking up needles and all, you know,
about
stuff.
a shift, dude.
Talk about a shift. Yeah, going from suits every day to wearing masks and hoodies and like
You gotta roll with the punches
carrying
sometimes,
pistols and yeah, absolutely, dude. It was a wild
Where's
west.
Wallingford? I don't even know what that.
Wallingford is right by the University of Washington, so
Okay.
U district kind of. And where our property's positioned, it's right off of 45th, which is like the main street going east-west, and then 99, which is like our north-south street. 99 everywhere, International Boulevard everywhere is notorious for lots of activity. Just lots of activity, man. I've seen a lot of activity go on around our property and on that street. But yeah, we've been blessed because we ran it. And we went after long-term tenancy. We just converted it over time. We ended up locking a contract with the city and with the county, and then housing people in that building on behalf of the county, getting people off the streets, providing food.
Was that for like homelessness or something? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they came to us in mid-year 2020. And we were like, yeah, we'd love to help. You know, we housed our first group in there, which was the Chief Seattle Club. Yeah, it was exciting to be able to merge business and real estate with like doing good. I didn't think that was possible to have a venture that was a social good venture. You know, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, but it was the toughest. Because we had big plans at first, because this building has views of the whole territorial area and South Lake Union and the whole skyline of Seattle. It's crazy. These views are incredible. And so it would have been perfect to convert it into a luxury apartment. But instead, we repositioned it to fit what was needed right then, right there. And we still have plans for it for the future. But we've been very consistent with our tenancy there, and we still have it to this day.
Okay.
We don't really sell anything. We like to buy and hold on to things forever, or at least buy things that in our hearts we like to have in our portfolio forever. You know, things we're proud of.
Yeah, I use the phrase all the time. You have to be a rock in a river. You know, like you just kind of got to go with the flow, especially like that. You never know what's gonna happen. You know, it's kind of crazy to transition to buying a piece of real estate to make an apartment out of, and then house homeless afterwards.
Right.
You know, so are you still doing that now, housing homeless?
Yes. Okay. Actually, we ended up building relationships with the county, with the city, and with nonprofit organizations that are doing good work. And we grew with them. We're like, okay, well, what is the needs? Do we need 200 units? Do we need 500? Because we'll pick up 500 units to house people if you guys are going to commit to doing the work and doing the service. So from the private side, we were like the only people in the game. There's a lot of nonprofit people that were doing this, but private people, children of this city, not a lot of people were doing it. Just helping this issue and working with the city. So we like to build these private public partnerships with groups, and they become coalitions. And you got to think about all the things that people need, all the essential day-to-days. As a hotel, we can provide everything from toilet paper and shampoo and towels, linens, all the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. But then there's transportation, there's food, there's the training that's necessary to have pathways to employment, and all kinds of day-to-day services that individuals need. And so it becomes a coalition. And with that, we can go, I could see the building. If you tell us what we're trying to do, I could see the building in my mind's eye, and we can go buy it. We can go figure it out. When the city or the county does it, they pay 3 times as much as we do. They just do. Like, the numbers let the record reflect right now that they paid 3 times as much as we paid for all of our real estate. Because we come in under the radar, and we're a little bit different. But when you start dealing with a city or a county, everybody's price goes way up.
That's crazy, dude. That's some stuff I want to get into too. I looked into doing that, trying to do some stuff like, they don't call it halfway housing anymore, but trying to get people out of incarceration, trying to get them housing, job training,
reentry.
Reentry stuff. I work with I'm on the board for the Schoolie Foundation, so we're working on building shower buses for homeless, so we can pull into a homeless camp, give everybody a shower, toiletries, some basic necessities, haircuts, wellness checks, clip toenails, like that kind of stuff, clothes, food, stuff like that. And
it's all the same stuff.
Yeah, working on like off-grid living. So there's a church down my way that has 5 acres open land, and we're trying to get them to lease us the land or for whatever, so we can have these buses, so we can have, just off-grid living. So we have like homeless, basically shelters, they can live in,
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's been your most challenging property transformation?
I would say it was the Wallingford one, but then that opportunity grew into our next building that we purchased in Belltown, which is like 2 blocks from here, and that was about 50 units. And we bought it in faith that the groups that said they were interested and were going to occupy it and turn this into a thriving community were committed, which included the county and the city. One of our favorite partners, co-lead, and then some other groups that we were working with at the time. And it turned into hey, yeah, we're going to take it, like days after closing, but do you have anything else? And I had just talked to my lender, and he was like, hey, I got a 39-unit building up the street. Bring us some of those tenants. And so we ended up taking 2 buildings. And then they were like, hey, do you want to manage this building down the street, which is like in South Lake Union? It was 55. And so all within 3 months, we went from 25 to managing, master leasing, and then owning another 49 units. And we had to activate all of them at the same time within a 90-day period. So that would have been like the most Herculean effort over those periods. But we were a little more well-heeled at that point. So nothing scared us. We did everything by faith. So when Sam and I shook on that, we didn't know how we were going to do that deal in Wallingford, our first deal, but every step we've taken has been a step of faith, and God's been there every single time to fill in the blanks and to give us wings when we can't jump that high.
Yeah, I use that phrase all the time. It's got to be God's plan, not my plan, because my plan gets me in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta give it to faith sometimes. You never know what's going to happen, or your properties are quickly becoming fully occupied. What's your secret to creating spaces that people want to call home?
I think we're fast at filling a building up, but that's because of a strategy that I learned from McDonald's. Right? You align yourself with the operator and you go buy the property and you put them together. So you have business operations and then you have property operations. And when you bring those together, you have the business making income and they're able to pay the rent. And you can take something that's vacant and then once you've activated it with a lease, now it's worth something because it has value because there's a lease in place. So we just did it in reverse. Let's find the purpose. The purpose is in the people. What do they need? Okay, they need 100 units. They need 100 homes. They need 100 addresses. So let's go find the 100 addresses after we have the need first. Oh, they need a restaurant. Oh, they want to start a strip center and they want to be an anchor grocery store. Whatever that purpose is, it's in the people. And so we go meet the people first, and then we go find the property to fill whatever that need is, you know? And so having that first, it just immediately makes the investment full. So we've got partners. We've got about 17 nonprofit partners that we've worked with in the past, maybe more now. It's probably like 23. And all of those people, I acquire their dreams. They stay in my mind. And so when I'm looking at real estate, when I'm looking online, I'm always seeing something and I'm thinking about a tenant, a partner.
Whose dream would this work for?
Yes,
Thing, right?
the speculation is very slim. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of speculation. Sometimes you just know that this is a great deal. We got to do something with this.
That's funny because so I ask people a lot of weird questions, or they think it's weird. You know, that's my brother's questions like, "Why you ask me this?" I'm like, "Just don't worry about it, man." And he's like, "But why?" And I'm like, "So last night I sent him a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a bunch of houses you could buy for like sub-2 properties, you know, because he wants to buy a home, you know." So I'm like, "Look, dude, I'm trying to find you options to buy a house. You know, maybe you can't because you can't afford to buy yet."
Sure.
Like, dude, but sub-2 right now it's hot, dude. Like, if you save 25 grand, you can get yourself a house. Maybe it's not what you want,
Right.
but at least you would own a home, dude. And he's like, and trying to explain to him, he doesn't fully understand how it works and like that whole process. You know, he's just not
Right.
that guy, right? But
Right.
that's fine. Everybody has to be that. I'm trying to be that for him, but you know, I just want to see him own a home. You know, I'm like, dude, that's fine. You could live there for 5 years and sell a house, and then you have enough to pay off all your debt you have and a down payment for what you want. Or live there for 10 years. Who cares? Like, and then what I found is actually last night, the same amount of rent he has now. So it's the same rent number. It's one less bedroom, you know, so you have to make something work or turn the garage into a room or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can make it work. It's a little bit of sacrifice. So you can make it work though, you know. But it's like, I'm always looking. It's like, I ask people questions and I listen when people talk and listen to people's needs, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. You're like, you're a facilitator, right? You're like, you're trying to facilitate and fix a problem. Like, how do you bridge the gap? And like you be in the community all the time and you be in the real estate, a lot of people, the gap is the real estate. Like everybody has a dream and a need, but they need the space to do it, right? It's
Right.
like, how can I fix that or own that space or be that guy that owns the space, right? And why not be the person that owns it? And, you know.
Yeah. And the more people you know, the cooler the real estate becomes. The more businesses and the more companies, you know, like in my mind now, I think Las Vegas, I think like Seattle Center. We need to build another Seattle Center because I got a basketball group, I got an airsoft group, I got this, I got arts, entertainment.
Yeah. So like, how do you... Tell me more about this. Like, how this come about? Like, how did you decide to do this and make this whole studio event center? Like,
Rob Deerdick, man. Fantasy Factory.
okay, is that for real?
Everybody wants
Okay.
a Fantasy Factory. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I saw that
playgrounds,
show.
yeah.
I was like, I'm going to have one of those one day. But it's a place where all the dreaming can happen. Our management company has about 33 employees, and they manage all of our properties, about 288 units, 470 total that we manage.
Okay.
We might even pick up another 92. And by the time this comes out, you know, we'll be bigger and bigger.
Right. Just go. Right.
Yes, I'm saying that in faith. But we had to have something. Everywhere, even our first property, we built a studio in it, a recording studio.
Okay.
That Wallingford property, we turned one of the units into a recording studio. We turned another unit into like an Airbnb unit, but also another like podcast studio. We had artwork in there. We had cool pieces and furniture that was all decorated by Cass LaRue, which is another one of our, you know, partners and family members. And so it just, that creativity, that doing things by hand, that DIY, it just carried forward. In the second property, we turned the the whole building into like a roaring 20s party, and we have alleyways and we hung chandeliers. We did all the stuff. This was in 2021, and we had live performances. I mean, we bring this with us. This is in our DNA.
Right.
So I had to have something, and when this came up, you know, it just felt right. It just felt right after coming here two, 3, 4 times. It was right around the corner from our other hotel, and we needed the space, and we just needed a place to bring people together. It's different, like during COVID, everything was work remote, and that life.
Everybody got so distant for COVID, man. Like COVID, it kind of ruined the society a little bit. Everybody is more comfortable being alone, Like,
Absolutely.
it's kind of crazy, like the COVID thing, So I it's just have that place to be together. Like, this is inspirational. I love this, like the vibe, the feeling, like it just feels cool to be in the room, like it's cool. But like, the COVID thing, man, like it's kind of crazy. So, you go to like, I used to drink a lot, right? And I was a day drinker. So I go to the bar, and there's a lot of the older people drink at the bar during the day that have nobody at home. And so you think about those people that went during COVID and sat at home by themselves all day and drank and had nobody to talk to.
Right.
And had zero communication, zero outside influence, nothing. Like, how depressing that was, Like, I feel bad for those those people,
Yeah.
It's like, I have this group of people at this bar I go to, and it's called Top Gun. It's in Puyallup. And there's older table. There's about 6, 7, 8 people always sit there, right? And I walk in, and I used to tell them I love you. I tell I love you to everybody. So I say I love you. Like, grocery store checker, whatever, everybody. I'm like, love you, love you, love you. My wife thinks it's weird sometimes, but Mike, I just say I love you to everybody, right? I love everybody. I just love people, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I say to these people, I'm like, you never know. I told her one day, I was like, you never know. That might be the one person I said, I might be the one I love you they hear all week or all month. They're maybe their kids aren't around. Maybe they don't have a wife at home. Maybe they're not married anymore. Who knows, And now that's why that the whole group of that table, before they used to not say anything. Now all of them, who I walk in there and I'll say anything, hey, where's my hug? Where's my I love you? And I'm talking about these hardcore old dudes, Vietnam vets that don't probably ever say I love you normally, What's up? No, give me a hug, say I love you,
Right,
It's just like that. Like, people need that space. People need that environment. Like, people got so used to being by themselves, for a year of not being able to go out. And still people to stay are like hard to get out of the house. There's people, like, it was like almost normal. It's weird how it's like just that little bit of time being forced to stay at home made it normal for people not to go out.
Absolutely.
And not to be around people or talk like this, have a conversation like you and I have been looking each other in the eyes the whole time, right?
Right.
Other people like, I can't look in the eyes. This is too weird, like not being able to have a conversation. It's crazy that people can't even talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
Or they'll be like, on their phones. I coach, right? So like talking to kids, they talk to each other on their phones. They text each other back and forth. They won't have a conversation in person. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. It is. The world has changed. And I mean, I get that, but in the priorities that we had were rearranged, or we realized that we didn't need as much space as we had, and the luxurious offices, and maybe it was a waste. However, however, the connection, the people, you still need those spaces. Yeah. I really thrived in big environments and big office environments where, you've got your people, you've got your routines, you've got your office. That was something I missed, and I really thrived in that environment and hosting events. I hosted a lot of events pre-COVID, events with anywhere from 200 to 750 people, all networking events, multiple different industries. And so I'm very much a social person. I like my space. I like to be able to close my office and then just like zone in on work. But I think this is needed. We needed an office because we're from property to property and we're all disjointed and everywhere and on Zoom calls, and that's just not working for us.
Right.
I mean, it works to an extent, but there's another level to this. There's just another level to this kind of collaboration we can have and synergy we can create.
What's the good feeling there? I'm sure once it's all finished, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
There's a really cool real estate office in Tacoma. They took an old bar called the Ale House and turned it into the real estate office. So they have the old bar. The bar's still there. I think they still serve all the alcohol and stuff,
Oh, dope.
And so that's pretty cool. So I've been a couple of meetings there. I can't remember what office it is, but that's pretty cool. Like, there's the vibe, the feeling. It's not a stuffy, real estate office. You know, you're not just walking into a regular old meeting. You know, it's just
Yeah.
the vibe's different when you walk in a space like this instead of
Yeah.
walking into just a regular office. You know.
Yeah.
What role do you see Seattle creative community playing in success for your new ventures?
I think community is important, and I think everybody, like all of us, have a little bit of creativity in us, and around us, and so I think it's important. The creative community is important, but I also think that our goal is to inspire business people to get creative, and people who aren't always creative and don't know and have the resources. You know, if you've got cameras, if you've got lights, if you've got space, of course you could just, you know, pop up and do something. But if you don't, then where do you even begin? Where do you start? And so with more businesses becoming digital and facing the public in the digital way, I think this is timely for us to have a space like this so we could host people and host events and creative events and productions. And that's what this space is for. It could be a peer space, it could be a lounge, it could be an event, it could be a musical performance, it could be a podcast, it could be a bunch of different things.
Right.
It's just a box, and that's the way I look at real estate. It's just a box.
It's all about what you put in the box, right?
Exactly, and the purpose
you can put
give
anything in the
it,
box.
how you position it, exactly. And so yeah, for us, it's just a big white box. We'll have our partner businesses. We have a whole nother side over here with space. So we'll have our partner businesses. We'll be a resource to them. So we already have like tons of companies that are gonna use this space and leverage it from time to time. But then we're gonna go out to the general public and the creative community and invite them in here as well and work on ventures with them.
Have you ever seen been to the post office in downtown Tacoma? The old post office building?
No.
You should go check it out. So they turned it into a bunch of spaces. So down below, there's like a shoe store, there's a barber shop, there's a soup and sandwich shop. Upstairs, there's a really nice restaurant, there's a coffee shop. It's still a post office. And then Tacoma Art School like uses a whole floor. So it's kind of the same thing. Like use it as like a flex space, you know. And like the people bought it paid like $400,000 for it or something.
Dang.
Cheap, dude.
Yeah.
And then they have a couple buildings in Tacoma, so they're kind of making it pretty cool.
That's the way.
Yeah, it's
the way.
sick, dude. Like it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So if you could host any artist here, who would it be and why?
Any artist?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's kind of a hard question.
No, well, yeah. I would say her. She's a vocalist and just a talent, just amazing. She can play any instrument, sing. So I probably her. And then I think comedian Dave Chappelle for sure. Love to have Dave Chappelle. He's awesome. Probably my favorite comedian. I'd also like to host like thought leaders, like Gary Vaynerchuk or Seth Godin. Yeah, thought leaders as well.
Man, lots of good stuff, dude. So balancing all this stuff, how do you balance everything of life, your entrepreneurship, just everything without burning out? Like what do you do to make sure you don't get that burnout stage, you know?
I think burnout is just something you got to deal with. It's just, you know, it's like going to the gas station, you know? I mean, like you're going to run out of gas at some point. So like, you know, it's just being prepared. You don't want to get all the way to the point where you've run out of gas and you're on the side of the road and now you need a tow and you got to call AAA. You don't want that. You want to be able to gas up before and be prepared. So, you know, we have energy, but it's not limitless. It's difficult to balance things because when you're trying to make something real, when you're trying to make a vision real, it's so much effort to make it real, and there's so much faith that's put into it and time and patience, and sometimes once you make it real, you just need a quick vacation. You need some time. So yeah, I don't think that that's something you can avoid, a burnout, you know. But you can recharge your batteries. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's hard for me, man. Trying to balance it, trying to not reach a stage. I just go, and then I just hit a point where I'm just like, I'm done. You know, it's like I feel like a lot of times I'll get kicked, you know. It's like trying to just push and push and push, you know. It's like trying to hit that goal, you know.
Yeah.
Trying to always say I'm leaving it. It's God's plan, not my plan. That's a hard thing to give up.
Yeah, when there's purpose behind it, then, that keeps you filled up. When you see the rewards in front of you and people and people around you. And then when there's people counting on you, you don't have that luxury of burnout, bro. You know what it is. You know what I mean? When the payrolls due, you don't have the luxury of burning out. You just can't.
Yeah, I use the phrase all the time. I'm too stupid to quit.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep going. So, what advice would you give someone looking to break into commercial real estate and start their own creative venture?
I would just say, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. But I tell people who are already in real estate, they're in residential and like they want to venture into commercial, or they want to venture into commercial real estate from another industry. Usually your past experience, there are ways to connect the dots and tie it into commercial real estate. There's people who worked in retail before and in restaurant before, and those experiences help them understand commercial real estate in a different way and in a unique way that some people who don't have those experiences cannot relate. If you have that restaurant experience, you can work with restaurateur. You can work with the restaurant community and the hospitality community and connect with them in a deeper way, maybe understand the profit and loss a little bit better than someone on the outside looking in. So taking those past experiences that you have and those past desires or dreams and that you want to see in the world, that can lead you to places where you'll be successful in commercial real estate. It's so big, like we talked about before.
There's so many different things you could do.
There's property types, multi-family, hospitality, industrial.
Well, that being said too, like you're saying, like I would say, find something that you can relate to that you've done that you can tie into commercial real estate, right? So like find something, if you know restaurants, find commercial real estate, including a restaurant you can venture into. So at least you know part of it, so buy a restaurant that has commercial real estate, or buy something, that has, multi-use, has commercial, or has, a restaurant with, apartments above or whatever, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you can kind of facilitate all of it, like that property we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So looking back at your journey, what was the pivotal moment rediscovered? You're breaking through a turning point that changed everything.
I think when I burned the boats, as they say, and I gave up my license, I knew I was transitioning. I knew I was. I had sent an email to my team, and it was really emotional. It was over the holidays going into 2020, and I was like, I know this is, I've done real estate brokerage for so long, but I know my path is to be a developer. I know my path is to be X, Y, and Z. And I was trying to give them the company. I was trying to hey, you guys just take this over. You take all my clients. You don't have to pay me anything. I just want to make sure that everybody's good. All the client needs are taken care of. And they were younger. They didn't really see it, for what it was. They're super successful nowadays. But yeah, that was a tough time. But I knew that I needed to sign on a different line. I was signing on the broker line on all my deals, and I needed to sign on the buyer line or the seller line. I knew that if I had one foot in the brokerage world and another foot in the investment world, for me, everyone still would have seen me as a broker.
Right.
And I needed to cut that off, and I needed to let the world know that I'm retired from brokerage. And it was an eye-opener for me. People still try to send me clients and stuff, they don't get the point.
Right.
But that's cool. It's fine. I love it. I'm a real estate person. My whole adult life has been real estate brokerage, real estate finance, real estate investment, you name it. I've touched it. But that was, I think, a big transition for me of just going from helping other people making their dreams come true to making my dreams come true on the real estate, and still helping other people make their dreams come true, but by being the owner of the real estate.
Yeah, I had when I started my company, so I'd actually worked for someone else. I was with a different company still. And one of my union reps was like, how can you hire an employee and think they're going to trust you and want to work for you when you won't even work for yourself? You
Right.
work for someone else.
Right. Right.
I was like, light bulb. It's like, okay, I quit. He's like, that's not what I meant. Don't quit. I was like, well, I have to quit, right? You know?
Yeah.
So I had, it was like a 6 months transition, but I had to quit my job. I quit my full-time job.
Yeah.
So work for myself, you know?
Yeah, I had one client like toward the end there. I was starting to burn out. Toward the end there. I had one client that we were in contract on a deal for 3 years, and it closes. And as we're leading up to the signing, the guy's like, "So why am I paying you all this money again?" And it was like, I've been doing 3+ years worth of work. And I mean, this email was probably like 10 pages long of everything that I had done in the process. And I basically said, I'm not negotiating. And I gotten to that point where I was firing clients all the time. I was like, no, if you're not cool, if your ideas suck, if you're not courageous and willing to take risks, then you're not for me. I want to do amazing work with great people. And so there was like, I had a few clients that were more like partners, and I was doing maybe like 4 deals a year with one client who had hotels and apartment buildings, and then, 3 or 4 deals with another guy who was a developer, and he had buildings in Bellevue and Seattle and stuff like that. And so I was just more close to the client. And so, I mean, I had this motto of like less clients, more partners. And so I was making that transition over time. I was just fed up with people who didn't value the work. And then that trust. When there's trust, things are so fast. People sign quick.
Right.
We can get stuff on the market quick. In fact, I might already be anticipating your needs because I love you so much. And like, hey, I got a buyer for your thing. And they're like, I needed a buyer for that thing. I didn't know that, thought we'd have to list it type of thing. And so, yeah, when trust makes everything faster. And so going out and dancing for new clients and then trying to build that trust over and over again, that just wasn't that.
It's exhausting,
I was tired of that.
man.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. I'm kind of at that point right now where it's kind of exhausting for me. I've been in business 15 years, dude. And it's like, I do some networking stuff, and then like another plumber goes in there, and it's like they start using this other guy. And I've been going there, this one group for like 5 years, right? And then the new shiny toy shows up and you start using this guy. Like, I've been your go-to person, dude. Like, just got to show up for a couple months to the group, and you just start using the new shiny toy. Like,
Right.
throw me away and I take care of everybody. Like, kind of, like,
That's
kind
the
of
thing.
like you feel like a punch in the face, Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's kind of like it's kind of hard, It's like you try and take care of everybody with and I like truly care about like every customer so much.
Right.
It's like exhausting to me,
Yeah.
So I'm at the point where I get burned out. I'm just like, I'm so tired. I'm trying to take on right now, trying to get a couple of my employees, like key employees, to take over some ownership, so I can like step off and to do some just real estate full time.
This is the way.
Uh-huh.
This is the way.
Yeah,
We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, that's what I'm trying to do is do this full time. Like, that's my goal, So I'm trying to get some of my guys to take over ownership, and kind of take over the company and run it, and not like sell it off kind of thing. But, because it's like I'm getting burned out, dude. And be the only one. So it's like, because I could expand, and the expansion could be big, and we could take over the market, right? It's just, but when it's all on my shoulders, I don't have that backing of having a crew that I know have, let's say 3 owners on the plumbing side and 3 owners on the GC side to rely on. They actually have ownership, right?
Right.
To go out, okay, we're expanding. We're going to buy these 3 plumbing companies this year. We're buying these 2 GC companies, and I have these guys who rely on me there to help run this, and they're running the show. Not to worry about why am I making every decision on who's getting an oil change, where we're getting oil changes at today. Like,
Right.
come on, dude. Why are you guys calling about that kind of stuff? Like, make a decision. That's kind of stuff I get bothered with now. I don't want to make that decision.
Right.
It's like, why can't you guys take some ownership? Like the small stuff. Like the big things, let's make a decision together. But if people had that ownership mentality, they would take over, and then it would help, right? And do you do stuff like that with your buildings too? Because you have managers, right? Do they have ownership stake in any of your buildings, or is it just
Our mission is to create owners.
okay?
And so here's the thing is like, let's say we bought $300,000 worth of toilet paper last year, right? Or like somebody started a toilet paper company, so we can start buying from you.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody started a locksmith company because we're changing locks all the time. Somebody started a HVAC company because, you know, that's the way we operate. So we create owners, we create businesses everywhere we've gone.
Yeah,
We've
create an opportunity.
invested. Yeah, absolutely. We've invested in companies. We've invested in tech companies. We've invested in small business, in restaurants, like food trucks, like all these things. I mean, money just goes everywhere to help people create these businesses so that, you know, we can roll like a family. We can roll like a big coalition. So yeah, we definitely. And then there's people that never thought they would own commercial real estate, but because they knew me and it was the timing and everything, I was like, come on, man, like let's do this deal together. And now they become, you know, commercial real estate owners in partnership with us. So there's, yeah, we've created a lot of commercial real estate owners that probably would have just kept flipping houses or you know, buying and building single family homes.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's an easy thing to get into or stay in that, like, that hamster wheel of flipping, you know, because it's good money.
It
You
is.
get the right deal, you know, but creating the ownership thing is good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's our mission.
Well,
That's
investing
our
in
vision.
people, right? So, like, what's your passion, you know?
It's also fun. It's great to see, you know, we've got a whole bunch of CEOs around us. You know, the management company, we gave it away once and then we got it back, you know, re-inherited it. So now we had 33 employees that, you know, that came along with that. And it's been fun to help build something, help build people, and know that our decisions create jobs. Our decisions create opportunities for others. And I'm always cognizant of that. I'm always thinking about the bigger picture of like, who all is this new venture going to touch? And I'm talking to them and I'm getting them excited about what we're going to do together because it takes a team effort. And that's development.
Right.
You know, that's hosting events, and development is kind of the same. It's like you're casting a future project that doesn't exist yet. You're putting up these renderings and these images of what it's gonna be, and you're going to find a designer. You're going to find an architect, engineer, general contractor. You've got your brokers. You've got, you know, you're thinking about your product type and your marketers, and you're putting it all together before any money is exchanged hands sometimes,
Right.
you know. And same thing with events. It's very similar. Any business venture it's like you got to get people to sign up for something before the thing exists.
Yeah, buy into the dream, you know.
Yeah.
So, in your world, what's next? What's the next big thing for you?
This is the most important thing right now because this comes out of the abundance of our heart, and to have a place and a space for people to connect and to create community. So there will be an event here on Friday. Right now we're a little bit of disarray because, you know, we're getting equipment and things inside and furniture and all this stuff to set up for Friday. But this is a big thing. This is where my heart is. However, we have projects. We have a lot of projects, you know, and unfinished projects. When I say unfinished is because when we buy something, we buy property with a future in mind, but then also a redevelopment future in mind. And so even though our properties have been renovated and they're optimized to what the box was, we have an invisible box on top of that for how we can increase the value, add more floors, or tear it down and build something brand new. So there will be units. There shall be units in the future, a lot more. You know, we love Seattle. So, I mean, we're all in the core. That's one thing, man. I'm so thankful to God because I thought I'd have to look outside of the core to start building our portfolio, but we started in the core and then we stayed in the core, and all our real estate is just, it's doubled and tripled.
Yeah, this is smack dab in the middle of Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited. So more Seattle real estate. Where everybody's running out, we're running right in.
Well, Lloyd, I really appreciate you being on my show. It was a pleasure meeting you. This is a great
You as well.
conversation. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the space again. So
Thank you.
This is great.
I can't wait to ride in your Lambo, though.
Yeah.
Live vicariously through you, bro.
The Escalade's faster.
Is it?
Yeah, it's supercharged.
Yes. Oh, shit.